Hey there, this is Lynn. Today is October the 28th, 2024. I've just completed my 74th week on the carnivore diet and I'm doing great. I'm excited. I had a good week, completely over the flu. It's fantastic. I usually would take a lot longer than this to get my energy back, and so I'm very encouraged. A typical recovery from the flu as far as getting the energy back is about 2 weeks. Even it could be longer than that. In the past, it was much longer than that for me. And I really feel like it was just the 2 weeks. So that's just kind of a normal flu recovery. So I'm super excited about that. Tells me that my resilience is improving. My mast cell disease has settled down. I'm doing really well. So that's good. I ended up taking a lot more walks around the block. And I know I mentioned last week that I had tried to do a walk around the block and it really was a struggle. No problem this week. So I feel like I'm completely recovered from this flu. So that's super exciting. Yesterday, I finally had my interview with Dr. Chaffee. It was the third time scheduling. The first two times he was traveling and he said, I'm so sorry, I need to reschedule. So finally it happened and it was him interviewing me. So it was pre-recorded. He said he's got kind of a backlog on getting his videos out. So he said it could be a month or two. So I have no idea how long it's going to take to get the video out, but it'll be out there. And, I never know for sure how I do on these interviews because I do have a tendency to ramble on, and even when I try not to, I still tend to do that. So we'll see how it goes, but I was pleased with it. It's he's always nice to talk with. I had a lot of opportunity to talk to him when I was in Texas with Hack Your Health, and he was hanging out with Elle and Bella and Max at our Airbnb, and he's just very personable and easy to talk to. And so, it's always nice. I've definitely felt comfortable doing the interview because he's just a kind of a low-key, easy to talk to person. But I was able to share with him that Mast Cell Activation Syndrome is way more common than originally thought, and that up to 17% of people may have it. And he actually was kind of surprised to hear that. And actually talked, and I don't remember if it was on the interview or after, because after the interview was over and the recording stopped, we hung out for like another 30 minutes and talked. And I think so I'm not sure if it was during the interview or afterwards that he mentioned that he actually has some patients that he's thinking of right now that might have mast cell disease. So one person at a time, just getting familiar with Mast Cell Activation Syndrome, understanding that it is really very prevalent, and the word gets out there. Unfortunately, I was able to share with him my Histamine List, the Swiss interest group Histamine List, and he said he's been looking for a good one, so I was able to share that with him as well. So that's awesome. It was I feel like that was a positive experience. And so we'll see what kind of feedback the interview gets. Every once in a while I get an interview going like, man, she talks a lot, but that's me. I'm just going to be me. What can I say? But anyways, so I had a couple things I wanted to talk about before I get to the results, and I don't want to wait too long to get to the results. But I want to talk a little bit about what am I currently eating, because I haven't discussed that for a while. And there was a period of time where I was doing a lot of hamburger patties. It has been a long time since I've actually done ground beef, and I'm doing mostly steaks. One of the things that I've reincorporated into my diet has been bacon and eggs. And at least a couple times a week, I can have bacon and eggs. And from a histamine standpoint, the bacon is higher histamine, the egg whites are higher histamine. I'm doing really well. And so that's made me so excited because I have catching up to do. I love bacon and eggs. It was my favorite go-to breakfast. And, that was a treat for me before. It was just having a really good bacon and egg breakfast. So I've been eating that a couple times a week, but overall, for the most part, I've been eating steaks, whether it be New York strip, ribeye. I don't think we've been eating much more than those two cuts. Oh, some tri-tip. But tri-tip's not my favorite. It's okay, but tri-tip's not my favorite. And I have been making something that I got from Courtney Luna, and it's a mug bread, and I'm tolerating it really well. And so it's basically, and I don't measure anything. I just take a big slab. It's maybe 1.5 tablespoons of butter. You melt it in the mug, and then you add an egg, and I add about a tablespoon of shredded mozzarella, which, yes, means I'm not completely avoiding cheese, but about a tablespoon of shredded mozzarella. And then I do just like, not a measuring tablespoon, but the tablespoon that I use like for cooking and stirring things, like 3 decent sized, maybe heaping tablespoons of pork pinko. And it's the Italian herb version of pork pinko. And I do fine with the Italian herbs. I don't have any issues with those, and so they set well and it gives a little bit of flavor. But anyways, you stir it all up really, really well, and then you microwave it for 90 seconds. And it turns into this little roll, basically. And I found that to be really good. It's not too eggy, and that's one of the issues I've had before when I've tried to make carnivore bread, is to me, I feel like all I'm doing is eating like egg souffle, fluffy eggs, and there's not a whole lot more flavor that comes through. Whereas this, you get flavor. It's not, it almost tastes a little more like a roll. Still egg, but anyways, I'm glad it's been sitting well, because I wasn't sure how the pork panko was going to do, but it's been sitting really well in my stomach. It's something now that Dave and I can have that is a little bit different, but yet still carnivore, and we're enjoying it. So I've been having that maybe a couple, 2-3 evenings. I'll make that up, and that'll be like a snack. And usually we eat our main meal earlier in the day, and so it might be, and we have like a snack later, and so I'll eat that. Another thing that I've been enjoying is at Costco, I get these Teton brand Polish sausages, and they're very clean. They're beef sausages. They have just a very few ingredients, maybe a little celery powder and a couple things, no sugar, no artificial ingredients, and no carbs. And they're really, really good. And it just, heat a couple of those up and eat it with some French's like mustard, which is 0 carbs. And, so I do allow a little bit of seasoning here and there. I'm not now doing just salt, which I had to do for quite a while. I keep this seasoning, additional seasoning, very, very minimal. In fact, with the herbs, I tend to only purposefully cook with those if I make like a chuck roast in the crock pot. I'll add some rosemary and thyme and maybe a little garlic powder, but I go very, very, very minimum when it comes to any seasoning, because I just don't want to push it too much with the histamines. And there's a lot of seasonings out there. If you look at that Swiss interest group histamine list, there's tons of herbs and seasonings out there that are low histamine. So if you are doing the carnivore diet, you have histamine issues, and you would like to incorporate a few more seasonings, check that list out. I will try to remember to put a link in the description. It's the most thorough list I've ever seen. And so far it's been pretty good as far as accuracy with me. Now, everyone's individual, but for me, it has been pretty accurate. So let me see if I missed anything that I've been eating. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's still very, very limited. I haven't had lamb for a while. Every once in a while I still have some lamb in my freezer. Sometimes I'll pull some lamb out, have some lamb. Oh, I have been able to incorporate some chicken, and I'm not the biggest fan of chicken unless it's dark meat, but I have been able to get some chicken, and I try to get good quality chicken, and so far it's sitting fine. I don't do chicken very often because I don't feel like I get as much nutrients from chicken as I do from beef, but it's kind of nice to have a little bit of a change to my my taste palette, because as of tomorrow is the 17-month anniversary of me doing the carnivore diet, and I feel like I've been doing great with the beef and lamb. I'm not concerned about starting to eat carbs. I don't want carbs. If I never eat a carb again in my life, I'll be perfectly fine with that. But I am kind of enjoying now being able to tolerate some other carnivore foods. And maybe for some people it's like, oh, big deal, she ate chicken. But chicken used to make my throat swell. And that's scary. So I was avoiding chicken. And now the times I've eaten chicken within the past week or so, no issues. Haven't had any problems with it. So I'm encouraged. Thanksgiving is coming up. And so hopefully I'll be able to eat turkey this year. Last year we had beef, which was fine. But maybe I'll be able to eat turkey this year. That would be awesome. And because I do like, my daughter makes the best turkey I've ever had. Like, it's moist, flavorful, amazing. And she's cooking, this is her first Thanksgiving being married, and she is hosting Thanksgiving. So yay. I will probably make some carnivore Thanksgiving side dishes and things and bring them over when we go over for Thanksgiving. But I hope that you guys have a plan for Thanksgiving, because this is my second Thanksgiving on the carnivore diet. And if the holidays are coming up, this is a problem for a lot of people, but you have to decide ahead of time what you're going to do. And I did that last year. I'm going to do that again this year. I am deciding I am not going to cheat. I mean, I've had way too much progress to cheat. So I am going to make sure that my holiday meals are 100% carnivore. I mean, maybe a few little seasonings here and there, but basically 99.9% carnivore. So hopefully you guys can do that too. Make that commitment to yourself, because honestly, a little bit of, if you go crazy, definitely don't go crazy. I mean, some people will have a little bit of vegetable here, but show yourself the grace to not cheat. And a lot of people will cheat and they'll regret it later. And so knowing that, it's better to just be strong and not cheat, and you'll feel so much better about yourself and your body will thank you. So anyways, I also wanted to go through a couple of things regarding my non-scale goals. And I had done a video quite a while back with 5 non-scale goals. I have met 3 of those. One of them was just kind of a silly one, to be able to get up off of the ground without help. I met that one pretty early on. One was to be able to sit in chairs without having to worry, like restaurant chairs, going to the hairdresser. I've achieved that a long time ago. I'm able to fly, no issues there. And I'm trying to think of what my 3rd goal was. I'm not remembering off the top of my head. I do know I met it. But the last 2 goals I have not done yet. And I think I can, but I haven't done yet. One was to complete a 5K, not necessarily run, but just complete a 5K. Now, I've done some 5K walks on meetups, but to me that doesn't count. I want to actually register for a 5K. I didn't do that this year, so I'm going to have to either see if I can get a 5K in before the end of the year, which is probably less likely, but we'll see. Maybe I'll check into it. And then the last goal is to finally fly with my husband in his airplane. So as far as weight goes, he needed me to be below 250. But then just recently he said, honestly, it would be better if you were closer to 200. He said, we could do it. It'd be probably better if you're closer to 200. And so I've been kind of putting it off, but I did see if I can get into his plane without too much trouble. It is small. It's a Cessna 150. And I was able to get into the plane, still not very easily. And it is a bit of a tight squeeze. So I fit, and he wanted to take me up a few weeks ago, and then I ended up with the flu. So I was actually going to go and get that first flight in with him, and then the flu hit. And the day he wanted me to go up, I just had this feeling like, I don't really feel like I'm up to it. And that was like 2 days before I came down with the full-blown flu. So I think that I was already just starting to not feel that great. But anyways, I don't know what the weather is going to be, because it is getting rainy and overcast. We're gearing up for winter. We're full blown into fall here up in the Puget Sound area. So we'll see what happens. It's a possibility that goal will have to wait until next year. And if that's the case, that's okay, because hopefully I'll be considerably thinner and hopefully closer to that 200 pound point, maybe even below it. That'd be awesome. But that's something that if you're new, I have never been able to fly with my husband. And we've been married for 34 years. He was in the aviation program at the university where we met, and I didn't fly with him then, and I don't remember why, but I didn't fly with him. And after we got married, he flew here and there, and kind of he let his license lapse for a while, so he got his license again. A lot of times he was flying with instructors. And then once we finally bought our airplane, I was way too big. I was like 350 pounds. So could never fit into the airplane. So here I am, married to him for 34 years, and I have never flown with him, and he's been flying since I've known him. So when I finally do fly with him, it is going to be massive. It's going to be I know it's going to mean so much to him, because that's one thing he's missed out on, is us being able to fly together and him able to share his joy of flying with me. So anyways, I just wanted to give you guys an update on those goals and let you know I have not forgotten about the 2 that I have not accomplished yet. I don't think I said I needed to accomplish them this year. It was just these were non-scale goals that I had that I want to accomplish. So those are still in the forefront of my mind. They will be accomplished. I'll definitely let you know when it happens. Okay, so let's get to today's results. I weighed in this morning at 232 pounds. Now, if you recall, last week I was wondering if I was going to maintain where I was at, because the previous week with my flu, I had lost 8 pounds. I was fully expecting to gain some weight back, and I did gain a little bit back, like a little under 2 pounds back last week. But my question was, okay, am I going to keep gaining weight back and get back to like the 236, 237, which is where I was before the flu? Or have I kind of broke through that stall that I was having? It looks like I maybe have broken through the stall, because now I'm at 232, and that has me down 1.6 pounds for the week. Now, if I had not been eating any cheese, maybe it was more, but I did have some cheese, a little bit of cheese, much less than I was having before. But it's still it's a healthy weight loss. Now, my fat-free body weight has been staying exactly the same for a very long time. So I'm not sure what the case is with that, but my body composition is kind of hovering where it's been for now for maybe a couple months. So my entire fat loss equals my scale loss this week. So 1.6 pounds, which I'm not going to complain about. It's fantastic. My muscle stayed the same, bones stayed the same, fluids stayed the same. So it's good. I'm not going to complain. So overall, since the very beginning, I started on May 29th. My first weigh-in was May 31st. So I'm sure I was over 240 340 when I started. I was not at my top weight when I started the carnivore diet. I was a little bit below, maybe 10 pounds below my top weight. But my weigh-in was at 339.6. So my overall, go figure, my screen always freezes. And of course, here I am saying I'm going to keep it short. And I haven't, of course. But my overall scale loss since the beginning has been 107.6 pounds. I have gained 27 pounds of good tissue. So that's 25.6 pounds of muscle, 1.8 pounds of bone. And then there's a little bit of water fluid gain, a little less than a half a pound of fluid overall gain since the beginning. So my total fat loss since I started is 134.6 pounds. I'm so excited, and I'm so glad that I am not heading in the wrong direction, and I'm so glad that I seem to be over that stall. I'll be happy when I'm in the 220s. I'm so sick and tired of the 230s. I've been here for too long, and maybe I just need to completely cut out the cheese, but I'm really enjoying those mug breads. So I don't know, we'll see. I suppose I can make it without cheese, but anyways, I just wanted to remind all of you that I have co-authored 2 children's books on the carnivore diet. I wanted to show them again. So the first one is called Superhuman Power Foods for Humanity. Amy Hosp and myself are the co-authors. This is a comic book, and it's an activity book and a coloring book for kids, younger kids. And we have made beef, bacon, butter, and eggs into superheroes. And some of the proceeds from the sale of this book go to the Healing Humanity documentary. And then we have also published this book called Sugar QB, the Sugar Monster and the Superhuman Power Foods for Humanity. And this is a storybook, and it stars the Berry family, particularly Dr. Berry's kids, Bonnie and Beckett, and Granny Berry. And so it is a super cute story. So if you want to teach your children or your grandchildren about healthy alternatives, combat all the bad messaging they're getting from TV, and help them to see that the foods that they're eating could be causing them to be tired and to be sick and to not feel good, and that beef, bacon, butter, and eggs are very healthy foods. So anyways, you can pick those up on Amazon. I'll put links below, and we'd be so appreciative. We're just kind of getting started with selling these just within the last month or so. We would appreciate any reviews, because we really want to get this out there for people to have a tool to help their children to learn how to eat healthy. All right, that's it for today. I hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.